minutes. We're a little early.
What's this?
It's, what do you mean? It's just
Oh, that's the cabinet behind me.
okay, it's just, yeah. Last time I had that covered. But what time is
That's
it?
fine.
Okay.
Why don't we scooch over that way a little bit more?
Because then we run out of curtain. Or I could just cover the cabinet.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if they see the cabinet or not.
Okay, well then why are we scooching over?
Well, for one, you keep bumping up against me.
This is all recording, you know. Let's move this way a little bit. There, I like that better.
Okay.
Okay, what time is it? We have 1 minute to go live. Let's see if,
So this is it, huh?
that's pretty much it, yeah. We'll see how this goes.
Just like a 5-minute chat.
Well, it depends on who comes on and who talks to us.
Turn the TV off.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll come.
And when you get back, we'll do our hello. Oh, we have somebody on. We're almost ready. We've been waiting and then we decided we should turn off the television. So give us just a quick moment and we'll have you. We'll go over our questions that we've gotten because we didn't get a lot, but we have a few.
The Santa gave me a birthday hello.
Okay, speaking of hello, are you ready?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Deb.
And I'm Brian.
And welcome to
Life in Guatemala.
It doesn't look
Did
like
you change the name? You said Life at Guatemala.
I did. Life in Guatemala. Hi, Margie. Good to see you here. This is one of our best question askers right there is Margie and her husband. They always have a lot of great questions. While we're waiting for some people to come on and hopefully we have some joiners, first thing we're going to start with is what's coming up in the near future.
Now, these are your interviews, right?
Yeah, because
basically.
Brian is going to be leaving for the States on the 13th of this month. And then I'm going to be headed to Antigua to talk to a couple of people that are there and have some expat chats there. And on my way out of the city, if all goes well, I'm going to meet up finally with Carrie in Guatemala. We had to cancel our last one because she had a little injury. If you read her page at all, she ended up with concussion and went to the hospital and spent some time taking care of herself these last few weeks. So I got a chance to meet with her. And then also at the end of the month, Brian and I, as well as some friends, are going to be going over to the Caribbean side of the country, which is our first time over there. And Peter LaFerrara, he used to live in Pana. He now lives over there in, I can't remember the name of his town, but he owns a company called Caribbean Adventure Tours. And he's got like an Airbnb style setup to rent some rooms and a little house. And he's also in the process of building a tiny house so that he has some monthly rentals available as well. So we're going to be doing a little bit of traveling. Thursday, maybe, if all goes well. His mom is here visiting, so we're going to try and go to Chichi, which will be our first time in Quetzaltenango, which we understand is the largest market in all of Central America. So I don't know how that's going to go yet, but if we get a good video, we'll make sure and post that and our experience there. So that's kind of some of the things that we have some upcoming chats and some upcoming places to visit. And you have any thoughts on those places or chats?
Nope.
Or?
I am kind of looking forward to our trip over there to the coast because we're going. When Debbie received this invitation, he said, go ahead and invite some friends and family. So we're going to be going over there with some friends that we have here, and at least 2 sets of friends, and maybe
another.
Maybe not a set because she's a single, but maybe she'll come too, and it should be a good time. And
yeah, at the when I post this video to watch for everybody else out there, I will put the links to his website down there and the name of the company and everything, so you'll have that information. But
and now we're going to be doing some video when we're over there too.
We're gonna,
right?
oh yeah,
I mean,
we'll definitely.
I would
but that
assume
won't
so.
be posted until sometime in April, the first part of April, because we're gonna. If we stay a week, it'll be the first part of April that we're done. So look forward to that. And hey, we got a thumbs up. All right. I'm gonna repeat some questions of some people that asked, and I answered them individually, but they're good questions that other people that watch these videos might wanna know the information. I believe this was Margie. And
What does that say?
I had sent Peter, if we need to know if we should bring a coffee maker. He doesn't have one. He answered me.
Oh.
I sent Margie a answer to this question. She asked me, what about vaccines to come to Guatemala, whether you're living here or moving here, visiting here? What kind of vaccines are necessary? Necessary, there's none that are required to come. Some people like to have some things in advance. The only thing I suggested personally was, because we ended up getting it here, was the tetanus shot. You know, if you could get a cut with the germs and bacteria that your body's not real familiar with, I would suggest having an updated tetanus shot.
Yeah, tetanus, that's something that you're supposed to be doing in the USA, right?
Yeah, every 10 years.
Every 10 years. So I knew it was on some schedule. And what happened was Debbie had a little accident and she got a poke
My
from
glasses actually
some
went into my...
potentially not sterilized metal. And so it was recommended a tetanus shot if we weren't up to date. And so we decided to do it here. And, you know, even if you didn't do it before you came here, if you come here and you, I don't know if you're required to have residency or not, but if you go to the Centro de Salud, which is where we went, they give you these shots for free. There's a lot of vaccines or shots or whatever that they just give to people here, residents. Once again, I don't know if you have to have a legal residency or not, but and we went there and got that taken care of.
And
You
it
know,
was...
no muss, no fuss.
The biggest difference was here, that was a round of 3 shots. I think we had to go back 2 other times.
Yeah,
And it's
wasn't it like once a month for 3 months? Or was it something
once
like?
and then a few months later and a few months later. I'm not 100% sure, but in the States, last time I remember having a tetanus shot, it was a one-time thing. It was just good for 10 years. So it's maybe a little bit different version or an older version. I don't really know. But there are people here that will tell you, make sure you have the COVID vaccine. That's personal. There'll be people that want you to suggest hepatitis A or hepatitis B. There's no such thing as the right answer because they're personal things for a lot of people. Because I worked in the medical industry, I already had hepatitis B, so.
Well, some things too, if you went and talked to your family doctor before you were coming down, family doctor may have some recommendations, suggestions. You know, something that there was 1 or 2 mosquito-borne
Dengue fever.
illnesses that they have a vaccine for or something or other.
Typhoid and yellow fever, maybe?
I don't remember for sure. And it was a recommendation. Once again, there is no required vaccine to come into Guatemala. And really, this is my opinion, I think, on a lot of these vaccines. If you're going to be traveling, is it's not necessarily to go into the foreign country, but it's to come back to the United States.
In some cases,
Yeah. So, you know, some of these things, they want you to have that because your intention is to come back to the United States in a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever. So, but to my knowledge, there's nothing.
Not required.
And we fly back and forth. There's a ton of people here who fly back and forth to the United States.
On a pretty regular basis.
Yeah, there's nothing I've heard of that, I got to go get my update on my whatever vaccine.
This was a really interesting question. And are we treated differently by Guatemalans since the immigration changes under President Trump? My personal experience for myself, I have not noticed anything personally. And we have a number of people that we associate with locally in our neighborhood, Guatemalans, and I haven't noticed anybody treating us differently. It doesn't mean there aren't people out there that feel differently about Americans since this change. But I also know there's a lot of Guatemalans that don't approve of other Guatemalans going to the States illegally. So it's kind of a two-way street when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you know, let me go to this USAID thing, because that's
Hi. Good to see you again, Elizabeth.
that's kind of near and dear to some people's hearts, is USAID, because they were giving some amount of fund. Evidently, quite a number of organizations here were getting funding from USAID, and some people are upset about it, and I'm sure some of these organizations, because once again, even from the stuff we hear about USAID, not everything was potentially,
Careful, you're moving the table.
a bad, I don't know what to call it, but it's like wasteful money or something,
Right.
or other. At least that's some people's opinion. Some stuff was going to, children's homes here,
Yeah.
or some to help battered women. And it's tough to hear about those things, because my impression of the way it went is they just cut off the funding for
Yeah.
everything, and then they're trying to figure out what's valid, what's good to give funding to, or
Well, what we're hearing, or what I'm reading, I should say, I'm not hearing this. What I've been reading is people that a lot of the governmental loans, money from the USA that went to the government of Guatemala, there's a lot of people saying, thank you for, stop sending that, because our government is corrupt and the people aren't receiving that money.
Right. So that was kind of what I was getting around to, is there's some things that were helping people. But hopefully that money was going to help the people, because this is, what they say, you got to be careful of a lot of giving, is some places they have like 90% of the money, 50% goes to administration.
Right.
So that only means 50% goes to help the people. And that's kind of what they, when it was very first happening here, and you were reading this stuff in a lot of news comments or whatever, that Guatemalans were saying, please don't send any more money. We don't want it here, because we don't get the money. The government or whoever is.
But as far as sending the people back, in some ways, it is, I know that they've opened up some immigration housing, and they've opened up some immigration receiving centers here down near the airport. And they're starting to build up some job bank type things for deported people. And that's part of the reason they left, is they couldn't get jobs, they couldn't support their families. So, I don't know, but as far as our treatment, the question was based, are we feeling any difference?
Just like Debbie said, I'm going to say no. The people the Guatemalans that we were at least friendly with or whatever, they're still extremely friendly to us,
Right.
and I think, now, have we seen things?
Oh, yes.
I have seen graffiti written on the wall about, no foreigners playing on our sports league or something or other. Not that I'm aware of. They have some North Americans playing on their national football. So I don't know. I would guess on the national team, probably not. But they do have like kind of what we would say pro leagues. And heck, when I first moved down
My doctor
here,
recommends my upcoming trip, there was a flu shot.
I don't know that there's too much about flu shot down. One thing, it's completely different here than in the United States, is they don't advertise medicines and vaccines on TV.
We don't see a lot of that,
And I think I talked about this before, as far as, getting a flu shot or a booster or the COVID booster or whatever. You don't hear about that anymore because it's not on TV. Unlike in the USA, because we do watch some amount of USA programming here. It's available on the cable.
And my suggestion is, if you feel you need a flu shot, if you would get one anyway.
Don't jump in. I'm in the middle of
Well, I want to answer your
something.
question. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
but I'm in the middle of saying something.
Okay.
So, anyways, in watching this USA programming, you guys know this. If you're in the USA, every other ad is for some kind of prescription medicine or the flu shot or the COVID booster or whatever. Here, once again, if your doctor's recommending something for you and you feel like that's what you want to do, then by all means. But I don't know that, now we were both sick, feelings kind of sick or something, or was it just me?
You got
A
like a
couple
little
weeks
cold,
ago,
yeah.
a little bit of a cold / mild flu or something. So, I mean, that stuff kind of goes around. But I don't feel, when we lived in the USA, and especially because we were, in Michigan, so there's a big change in temperatures and weather and stuff like that, that I think can exacerbate those kind of things. Living here, we don't really, before it was kind of regular, at least once a year or twice a year, you would get a cold or a flu or something. And here, not really.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah.
So, anyways, what were we talking about? Are we treated differently? Yeah. No, the people that I regularly talk with and stuff, I haven't had anybody come out and say, no, I ain't talking to you anymore. Matter of fact, very seldom does somebody bring up President Trump, just like when it was Biden, when it was Trump the first time. We moved down here during the first Trump presidency, lived here through the entire Biden presidency, and most people, if they do bring up something about the United States, they don't go, oh, your president is great, or oh, your president is horrible, or anything like that.
Well, and from strangers too. I haven't noticed any like odd looks or sneers or statements. So,
I mean,
and maybe it happens somewhere, but we haven't received.
Well, it's the same, to me, it's the same thing as it's always been. There's a lot of people down here who maybe don't see that many white people, especially if you're in the touristy areas or whatever, yes, and you don't necessarily get some stares. But me, first of all, young kids, even living right here, because I'm 6'4" tall, a lot of young kids are like, there's a giant here. So it's no different. As of right this second, it's no different. I have seen, like I said earlier, some graffiti written on the wall and stuff, but I mean, there's people doing that stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And even before then, during even continuing today, not that I'm seeing it, but the Palestine and Israel conflict that's going on. There's people on both sides of that here.
But you don't see a lot. It's almost like, other than their local politics, I don't see them talking a lot about other world politics. I'm sure there's some of it somewhere. I don't see it.
Well, you know what? Especially during the past couple of years, I think that most of the people who didn't want to be here for whatever reason, they tried to make their way to the United States. And the people who are still here, I think they wanted to be here. There is no doubt there are some people struggling here. I don't know, I'm not aware of a ton of violence going on, that people would be kind of getting, trying to get asylum from violence. A lot of it, in my opinion, would be economic.
Yeah.
Some of these people here, especially you didn't have the ability or desire or whatever to get for, continuing education. It makes it hard to get a good paying, because here, like construction, in the USA, construction is considered kind of a good job, a solid, middle income job at the very least. Here, it's like, that's like the lowest.
Low rung work, exactly.
I remember seeing something when we first moved here about like construction guys or something, and it was well below the average minimum wage is what they made.
Well, and the other thing was funny, we have a couple of young friends that are single women, and I said, well, these construction guys working next door, they seem like nice guys, and they were decent looking, and construction, I mean, how would they even take care of a family? And I mean, it was like I had told them to go out and flirt with a pauper or something. It was
and after hearing about what they make, I get it. I mean, once again, this is that is super low minimum wage, so there's a lot of people who are in that kind of thing. So unless they're willing to hustle, or own their own business. And by hustle, I mean maybe work 2 or 3 jobs, so you are working 7 days a week. That could be difficult. So those kind of people going to the USA,
Right.
boy, that was
That
really
was
got off track.
We got
of
off
this.
track, but anyway, let's go. The next one's a question more about cost, and I think it's going to prompt me to, for us to do a video, updated video on the cost of food items here. We did one.
Well, these are very specific
These are
foods.
yeah,
right?
I'm going to get into that. But we have hold on. Is there a local and national news on TV similar to our local and national news?
Yes.
Yes, but we don't watch a lot of that, to be honest. I don't. I read a lot of it online.
Yep. Debbie's signed up for basically the
major
1 or 2
news.
local newspaper kind of thing that
And-
she reads online. Yeah, I mean, they have news channels and everything here. That I mean, they have CNN in Spanish, which I believe is like Latin America, Central America CNN, not USA, even though they do talk. Now on there,
You'll get some of the
you talk a lot
politics,
about
yeah.
the United States and stuff because they're looking at least, if not kind of the America's politics, world politics, you know, so,
Right.
but yeah, local news, and they have a number of channels, and I think they even have 1 or 2 kind of local
Kind of.
news only
Yeah, they
channels,
do.
I
They
think.
do. And as far as the national news, you know, I don't know that they actually have a whole lot of like our NBC, ABC for just local programming. They show a lot of U.S. programming for that kind of stuff in Spanish. As far, I don't know, because, and even the
For what kind of
telenovelas are Mexican. They don't have a lot of just local Guatemalan programming
Well,
other
they-
than the news and church things.
I mean, we don't watch them, like we've said at least twice already, but they do have, I'm gonna say 3 or 4, at least Guatemalan TV channels on cable. And they do talk about some amount of news on it.
I know,
So
but she
don't
also
know.
asked, what about national things like NBC, CBS, Fox?
Yeah, but I would kind of consider those Guatemalan channels.
Carrie in Guatemala is finally joining us. I told them earlier, Carrie, that I was going to finally get a chance to have this expat chat with you online coming up probably on March 13th. Hopefully you're available that day while I'm still in the city and we can finally get this to happen. But thank you, Carrie, for joining us. For those of you that don't follow Carrie, her link is going to be in the description below also. She does a lot of travel videos throughout Guatemala. She has a website as well as a Facebook page, and she's going to be renewing, starting whatever, her YouTube channel here in the near future. And she's got a lot of great information. She makes really good videos too. She finally feels better. She is available March 13th. Good to hear. I did tell them that you had a bit of a concussion. I didn't tell them why, but you were taking care of yourself. But I want to get back to the food question that we were asked
Yeah,
about.
let's talk about all these
There was
Asian type of
thanks,
things on the
Carrie.
list.
If you like Asian food, there's plenty of it down here. I mean, restaurant after restaurant, and there's a couple of Korean stores here in Xela. And somebody asked me very specifically, and I haven't gone out to the stores. I did try the other day. It was Sunday though, and it was closed. Can I give the U.S. amounts for some of these items? And he was asking about hoisin sauce, soy sauce, sweet Thai chili sauce, mirin, fish sauce, sesame oil, Asian noodles, ramen, rice, etc. The only answer I have for him right now is, the only thing I can't say for sure, fish sauce. Every other thing on there I have seen. I have not seen or purchased fish sauce because I have never used it.
Yeah, I think I've seen, well, I'm not sure
There
what,
used to be a Thai restaurant, Carrie, but there's not anymore.
but it's supposed to be coming back.
It's supposed to be coming back,
Yep.
yes.
She said Mario.
CD says, no worries, that was me. I'll do the math. I will get you some information on the cost, at least in quetzales, but we do know soy
one
sauce you can
thing's-
get for about $1.
Yeah, well, they have local brands, I'll say, are Latin American brands of soy sauce, and they have Kikkoman and La Choy.
Yeah, and they had Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah, and Worcestershire sauce, local Andalou and parents, but that's not about Worcestershire sauce, right?
Well, he didn't.
So anyways,
hoisin sauce, I found that.
the sweet chili, I've only seen that I know of in, was it Walmart? I think I was buying it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was kind of pricey there. From what I would imagine it cost in the past. You know, we've been living here for 6.5 years now, so I'm out of touch with a lot of US. As a matter of fact, I get sticker shock when I go back to the USA. It's like, what? This cost? You know, I can't imagine. But I thought it was a little pricey, but available. And it was decent. I bought it a couple of times. Unfortunately, because it's not super common, there's not a wide selection of that. But soy sauce, definitely, a ton of it. And for the whatever the thinking is about this, but liquid aminos and even, you know, the Bragg's
Yeah,
brand
you can finally get that even
of
here
liquid
in Xela.
aminos is commonly available if that's kind of what you were wanting. What's he saying
He's
here?
saying the sweet Thai chili sauce is good for egg rolls or spring rolls.
Yep.
And
I like putting it on pizza myself. I call it pizza ketchup.
egg rolls, when we buy them here, and you may know this already, are tacos china. They don't, very seldom will you see them listed as egg rolls on the menu.
Yeah, you know, and at the restaurants that serve them, a lot of times they give their sweet and sour sauce with
Right.
it. That's what they give. Heck, I remember that in the USA. Sometimes a restaurant would give you.
Sorry about that.
They will give you
good to know.
sweet and sour sauce at USA Chinese restaurants, but a lot of times it's duck sauce, which is that kind of orangish whatever. But here, a lot of their sweet and sour comes with egg rolls.
Yeah, I don't use sauce on my egg rolls, so it doesn't much matter to me. Oh, tariffs went into effect today. Do you think they will affect pricing in Guatemala? You know, I'm waiting to see, because a lot of prices in the States do affect prices here, especially gasoline is probably the number one thing that is affected that I've noticed.
It does seem like when gasoline goes up in the USA, it goes up here. It seems like when it goes down in the USA, it tends to go down here too.
Right. Food, not so much, because they grow some, especially like your vegetables and that kind of stuff. They grow locally, a lot of that.
I'm trying to wonder, is the USA putting a bunch of tariffs on
Yeah, they
Guatemala?
restarted. Well, they haven't said Guatemala yet, but it might affect prices just because of the import. I don't know. But Guatemala deals directly with a lot of other countries, not just the U.S. as far as their export and import. I mean,
Well, and once again, very few, I think, are the products that are. I'm still trying to decide.
well,
Tariffs are on the import of product from Guatemala to the USA. So,
But the question is, if we are putting tariffs on other people's products, and if they get it, if Guatemala gets it from us, will it affect their prices? I mean, I guess that's kind of a wait and see, because they just started these tariffs to Canada and Mexico today, and China today.
so the tariffs are.
They took effect, the 25% today and 10% on China. Have I been asked by a local why you moved to Guatemala? Yes, we get asked all the time. And
Sometimes, not all the time.
I've been asked a lot, but usually the answer is, the first one answer is, we love the climate and the people. And that's the truth. I mean, that was what drew us here initially, especially this part of Guatemala, because we don't like it real hot. I don't like it real buggy. And we don't have a lot of bugs in Xela, and we don't have it too hot. I mean, in the mid 70s is average almost all the time. Or
Yeah, today it might have hit 70. It was kind of cool today.
66, 68 most of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do get asked. People wonder. It's hard to find. Yes, tell him. He wears a size 13. But he found a couple of shoe stores in the city for tennis shoes.
Yeah. Once again, I'm going to put this in every shoe store here for me. A men's 12 or a men's 13, they might have one or two
Right.
pair of shoes in one or two models. Now, when we went to the running store in the city, she brought out a couple of tennis shoes to show me, and who knows, I wasn't picking them off the shelf and saying, let me try these, and she was recommending shoes to me, and she came out with size 13 and both these shoes.
And I wear a women's 10, so I'm probably not going to buy women's shoes here, but I get mine primarily in the States. When I come back, I bring myself shoes, or somebody comes down with
So
them.
in their sizing here in men's shoes, they use European or whatever, however it works. I would take like a size 45, I think, in the European sizing. And here they tend to go up to maybe 42 is the common. Yeah. And so, whatever that is, like maybe a size 10, men's 9.5, something like that. So yes, it's difficult to find shoes because, my mom was commenting on this the other day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shoe stores.
There's a lot of shoe stores.
A ton in the mall.
Do you have the right size?
in the mall, heck, there might be, in La Pradera, there might be 15 or 20 shoe stores in there. And the same kind of the similar number in Interplaza. The problem is the sizing.
I'm going to go back real quick. Carrie mentioned, she likes the weather here in Xela. It's better than Guatemala City. But, if you go in the right places in Guatemala City, we found if you walk up and down in the shade on Las Americas, you can stay a little cooler. But it can get really hot.
Yeah. Now, I don't know, have we been in the capital? I know sometimes flying in and out in that airport, I was like,
they have
man,
air conditioning now.
Why don't they have air conditioning in this
They
place? It is so
added it.
hot, and the sun's out beating on the airport, and it's like 90% glass. So you're standing there, it's like, man, I'm an ant under a microscope or something, just roasting.
And then back to talking why we're here in Guatemala, Xela specifically, CD says, lower crime, lower cost of living, higher quality of life overall, perhaps. I'm sure there's every bit as much crime as any big city. We just don't see a lot of it because we don't really pay attention and we stay away from areas where it might exist, if you will. And, we don't go to the bars. We're not out at midnight. And so we don't see some of the stuff I know happens because I do read the news. But, for us, because there is a lower cost of living overall, and we've met some really good people, we do have, in some ways, I'm not going to say a higher quality of life, but at least an equal quality of life.
Well, one thing going back to crime, and here's kind of the difficult part about you're looking at numbers or data, and anybody can post numbers to support their story one way or the other. I do remember reading something of the murder rate per 100,000 people or whatever, and at that time, I think that Guatemala was lower than a number of just certain U.S. cities, like Chicago or L.A. or New York or whatever.
Right.
But then other people have said, no, there is crime here, and people who are kind of living here. So I don't want to discount what their perspective is. Now, we ourselves have been a victim of a crime where somebody basically stole a vehicle from us.
Partially our fault for being a little naive, but
But we were selling a car that ended up somebody paid us with a bad check is the gist of it.
Yeah.
They paid us with a bad check, and then
we have never heard from them.
Never
or the
heard
car
or
since.
seen from them, and we reported to the police and in the legal system here, and it's been 3 years now.
Yeah.
And we have not heard one thing about it. So there is crime.
Scams happen everywhere.
I understand there's some amount of pickpocketing if you go to certain markets or whatever, that really any place you go to, someplace that's busy with people, there's probably some people in that crowd that are looking to
the mountain towns
do that.
have a tendency. I just read an article. There was a big drug bust, like 400 million quetzales worth of marijuana was found in Totonicapan.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, up in
That's not that far
It's
from
not
here.
that hard from here. I don't even take checks here. Well, we didn't think we were taking a check initially. We were sort of scammed into believing there was a transfer made directly into our
Yeah,
account.
they showed a receipt of a bank deposit.
When they covered up where it said check with their thumb when they copied the receipt, and
Yep.
because we were separate at the time, and when he left with the car and before I got back, I didn't have a chance to check my bank account to see if it had cleared, and it was just I should have known they can't transfer that amount of money anyways. Most banks don't let you transfer over a certain sum, and so it was just naivety on our part. So we do take some of the blame, but we were victims in that sense. There was,
Yeah.
and the special police, whatever they're called, DIKE or I don't
Yep.
remember, they told us there was a crime syndicate doing this car scam, that we weren't the only
And
ones.
you know what? After that happened to us, we had
Yeah,
heard
Carrie.
that some Guatemalans
Had the same thing
also
happen.
get,
Yeah.
heck, my Spanish teacher, her daughter bought a car and had received this car and was driving it for 6 months, and all of a sudden the police come knocking at her door and say, we think this car was stolen. And they checked some numbers and they said, yes, it's stolen. And they confiscated the car that she had bought from somebody and had legal paperwork for. And to this day, she's without the car and without the money that she paid for that car. So, you know, it can happen to anybody.
There
here.
are bad people everywhere, and it comes down to, as far as I think, when I think of crime, it's like going anywhere. And, you know, I'm pretty well traveled overall, and it's common sense. Be careful. Where are you going? What areas are you in? Who are you with? I mean, a lot of this stuff is common sense. So
Come here.
we want you to meet somebody. Come here.
Come here.
Ven aquí. I think in one of our past videos we told you we
Serás
have some
famosa ahora.
students. Some students living with us.
Here's
This is
one of our students.
This is Sulmi.
Mano abajo.
She didn't know we were on a video
hi.
call.
Hola.
Hola.
Okay, ¿dónde vas? Okay,
Okay.
muy bien.
Bueno. They're just letting us know they're going to the store. And now there's a perfect example. A couple of young girls, they go out, their store's right in our condo, but the neighborhood next to us, where we've been told sometimes, hola, gracias, that sometimes you have to be careful because there's crime in that neighborhood. A friend of ours lives over there. But the girls do walk there, but they're usually together, and I think that helps. And we tell them to stay together, and we try to teach them to watch out. Our youngest student last year was her first year, and she goes to the city every weekend for her university.
Yeah, she was pickpocketed there, right?
She was pickpocketed, and I'm going to take part of the blame again because our first time down there was for her entrance exam test, and I didn't tell her in advance, look, make sure everything is zipped up, closed up, don't have your phone out, and she just stuck it in her phone in a side pocket of her backpack, and got on the train.
And left it open.
And all of a sudden she can't find her phone, and we never did get it back.
No.
So, you know, it's awareness. Be aware, and I need to be better at teaching these girls. I'm trying to teach them,
And
but
Evelyn had that problem. She was
harassed at a bus stop.
Yep. There was somebody trying to get her backpack off of her. And this is in the middle of the day.
Yep.
And there was somebody else there, evidently at the bus stop, but it was some kid younger than her.
Right.
And finally, a lady, I guess, kind of pulled over and yelled to the kid, help her.
Yep.
You know, because some guy was just trying to grab her backpack off her back, and she wasn't letting it go because I think she had her computer in there.
Yeah, she wasn't gonna let
Right.
it go, so I give her credit for that. But she was scared, and rightly so. And
It's
I'm glad it hasn't happened, Carrie. I know you. How long have you lived in the city now? You've been in Guatemala a year at least, and because you've been married here. So how is the Wi-Fi around there and Bluetooth, and can you use trackers? The Wi-Fi, as long as the electric goes out on and off, because they do a lot of electric maintenance.
well, let me say this right here. I don't want to be too technical or whatever, but the Wi-Fi, that's dependent on your equipment that you have
Yeah.
in your house. So you can have as good you can easily get some pretty high-end Wi-Fi routers or whatever. Here, or definitely bring them, friends of ours, they had some stuff shipped down to them from the States a month or two ago, so we could have the latest and greatest of
We
whatever.
do use the iPhone tracker we have the Find My Friends for the girls, and it has helped us a couple of times with some things.
Yep, those things work. Now, internet, I'm assuming, because that would be the thing, and what kind of internet is. We just recently got our internet freely upgraded to us through, from Claro is the company we're using right now for our internet and cable in the house. And they had ran 2 years ago fiber optic line through the condo. So we were paying for either 100 megabits, I think it is, 100 fast, or 125, and they just upgraded us to 200. So our internet can be, more than fast enough for us to do
Asking about the
stuff.
free Wi-Fi, it's starting to happen more and more, but.
What's the question about free
Well,
Wi-Fi?
it's like, so not much free Wi-Fi or open stuff, not really, but
well,
there
if
are
you
more
go-
places, like hotels are starting to offer it. And,
I'm going to say if you go to a decent hotel,
yeah.
they're going to have Wi-Fi
But
in
every
the rooms
restaurant
or
you
whatever.
go to isn't necessarily gonna have
Yeah.
Wi-Fi available to you. We're
I-
losing all of our callers, or all of our watchers. We're
Oh,
down
they're
to
leaving?
Yeah, we must be talking too long.
We're boring.
We're boring.
Well, they don't care about Wi-Fi. Yeah, a lot of restaurants you go to, they'll have free Wi-Fi,
At Walmart.
50-50.
I don't know if there's free Wi-Fi at Walmart. Starlink, yeah, we have some friends that have Starlink also, but they're in Santiago. Where are you, CD? Oh, Carrie's still here. I get the impression, are you more rural? I guess is my question. If you have Starlink, sometimes.
What's it say? It's nothing good out here.
In our area, so I don't know where that
yeah.
area is. So that's something we'd have to find out.
Well, here's our whole history of internet connectivity. When we first moved here to San Marcos, a smaller
it's
town,
bad. Oh.
the only service available was called something of gold, and we had like 3 megabits. I mean, you couldn't watch TV on it. You couldn't watch Netflix or whatever. It was horrible. Tigo came around within a year and ran a line down our road, and then we got like 20. And then we moved here to Xela, and we were paying for 30 or something, and then we switched to Claro.
That was smart.
And now, after they ran fiber optic in here, now it's 100 and something. And supposedly, for businesses or something like that, they have up to 1,000 if you have fiber optic and stuff. So the speed that we have here in Xela, and really I'm going to say it's location dependent, because I don't believe they've covered all of Xela with fiber optic line. But there's various other things. There's Venite or something like that, which is they put an antenna on your roof, and then they point the antenna on their main transmitting antenna or something, wherever that is in the city. And people say that works pretty good. We haven't used it, but
Okay. I was kind of guessing this. CD says I live in the Panhandle rural area, Florida Panhandle rural area. Okay, I have family there in Panama City, but it's not rural. Alicia, yes, you're right. The Minerva especially, and Christmas time. Put those two things together, craziness. I mean, the Minerva is crazy anytime, but I can imagine.
What does this thing say?
It says she was at the Minerva during Christmas. Somebody attempted to steal their crossbody bag off of them. She yanked it out of her hands and ran. So be careful in crowded markets.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know that one lady who adopted that baby here, she had said she was in San Pedro, living out that way. She had her passport on a holder around her neck that was inside of her shirt under her jacket, and somehow somebody got, snipped the cord. I'm not sure, but she said my passport was stolen from me in that market there.
So be careful,
I think we kind of mentioned this before. You're in a crowded area, there's a lot of jostling or whatever, people around, very easy for somebody experienced to take something off of somebody who's not experienced.
Now, Margie has a good question, and Carrie, if you're still with us, you can jump in on this answer too, because it might be different for you in your area. They're looking to take Spanish classes and do a homestay. What's typical family eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Breakfast, I think, typically is usually like a type of scrambled egg and some black beans and some plantains.
Yeah, probably some fried or cooked plantains. Maybe a little piece of meat.
Tortillas for everything.
Yeah.
Every meal there's tortillas.
Corn
Corn tortillas.
They're going to come with somewhere between 4 and 8 or more tortillas.
Yeah,
for
you put your eggs on it, you put your beans on, everything goes on a tortilla, a corn tortilla.
Or they just eat them, fried chicken for whatever reason outside of fried chicken places.
They sell tortillas.
They sell tortillas. I mean, Mayans. I mean, there was a corn agricultural culture in their history. Corn very important to them. So tortillas, a big part of meal. Lunch.
Lunch is their big meal of the day, though.
Similar things, maybe.
Mosh, hot cereal and milk every day. And she cooks eggs, plantains, and beans, like you mentioned. Okay, Carrie's husband eats, I call it mosh. We were introduced, it's like a liquid oatmeal.
You know, that's not as common. I mean, you had to ask for it.
It was on their menu.
Yeah, but you had to ask for it. Remember when we lived in San Marcos, mosh was
common.
At a lot of restaurants that had breakfast, it was whatever their typical breakfast and a little cup of mosh. And here, not quite as common. So,
and like Carrie just said, lunch is the biggest, most important meal of the day, and they eat their biggest meal usually. We still haven't transitioned to that. We still eat our big meal for dinner.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's a common.
Well, they love fried chicken here.
Yeah, they do love fried chicken.
They love fried chicken. It's kind of weird here. The fried chicken places will open at like 9 or 10 in the morning, and they don't sell breakfast. They're selling fried chicken and French fries. And they are open from like 9 a.m. till about 6 p.m.
But they
they close.
They like rice and beans and tortillas. Paches and
there's all those little typical things: tamales, chuchitos.
Yep. And a little bit of so there you go. Soup, as Carrie just said, caldo, soup, rice with some meat, a little bit of meat.
Yep.
And always tortillas.
They like a lot of soups here too.
Yep.
That's pretty common. I don't really eat that many soups. And then dinner, kind of the same kind of thing, but maybe a little bit less.
Yeah.
And sometimes real late at night. And the other thing, they sell a ton of, they call them refracciones here. That'll be small sandwiches, hamburgers, like snack food or whatever, but I don't mean a bag of potato chips or something or a candy bar. And people will eat those at various times throughout the day.
Carrie, I can't believe that breakfast for dinner shocks you. That's something that we would eat. That's common.
What? So she's saying it shocked her to eat here because these girls here, they will make eggs
or pancakes
any 3 meals of the day. They'll be eating eggs with something, and they mix something in with it. They make a lot of rice. In general, they will cook up some pieces of steak, or we kind of turned them on to that pork loin that was. It used to be really cheap at the despensa. That now they're buying that.
Dinner, yeah.
What?
Oh, I was gonna let you finish your sentence. Buying the pork. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean they're buying pork loin now, and they're cooking that up too. So
they're kind of getting a little bit of touch of American things here and there, but they still are pretty much Chapin, Guatemalan all the way.
Well, they must. I mean, other people must do it because I mean, every time I go to the thing, they got a pork loin like this, that they're selling for. It's just over $2 a pound. Now, so
milk
the people are buying it,
yeah.
And pork, chicken.
Yeah, oh yeah, whether they make it themselves or buy it fried. Yes, milk is easy to find, and You can buy regular milk like
In
you
the
would
market?
in the States. I buy from the bake shop, or there's a local dairy here that I've only bought from once, but I can go there if I don't get it at the bake shop because I've started buying raw milk, and it's 12Q, which is about $1.65 for a liter. So how that compares for expense, and that would be, I don't know what a liter equals. It's 2 quarts maybe?
No, it's a quart.
It's a quart.
It's like
it's
one
a-
point something.
It's a little bit cheaper if I
quart
buy
or-
it directly at the dairy. I can get it for 1Q cheaper for that same thing. But so, and I don't buy a lot of milk in. They have the boxes. Are those 1 liter boxes?
I think they're just under. I think they're 946 milliliters or something. Don't we
Because I
have
just
one of
bought
these?
some for your mom, yeah, and that was running about
Because it's the same as this. I mean,
about
we get,
20Q for a box of regular
Yeah.
milk.
so this might be a quart.
Okay.
This might be
Now
a quart.
this is almond milk. That's a little
Yeah.
more expensive.
But the regular milk they sell, the vast majority, I'm going to say, it comes in this container. And this is, as somebody told me before,
Ultra
this is
pasteurized.
ultra pasteurized. That's what lets them keep milk,
In a box.
fresh milk, cow milk, out on the shelf in a box and not under
But you
refrigeration.
can buy
They do sell
in a supermarket.
normal, yep, in the supermarket. In whatever tienda you go to, they're gonna have some of these, not silk, but
Regular milk.
regular cow milk and
Whole milk, and they have lactose free, and they have skim milk.
Skim milk,
Yeah.
1%, 2% whole milk,
Yeah.
and lactose free in at least 1 or 2 of those fat contents of milk. But this is the most common container of milk, and you can find this just about anywhere. Even in little town, little pueblos or
Yeah.
whatever, in the tiendas, they're gonna have some amount of this, I would say. So, let me put this back.
You know, I don't know. I like oatmeal, but I haven't been drinking it. I'm working on things for my health and my diabetes, and so I went to the whole raw milk that I'm working with, and it seems good in my coffee right now. But that's about the only place I use milk, that or cooking.
Did we say how expensive we think milk is?
Yeah, we give some prices in Q.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been almost an hour, so we're going to wrap it up. It's 52 minutes long we've been on. If there's any other quick questions, we'll be happy to take them. We hope that we've had some good information for anyone, and we look forward to it. What's this?
I'm trying to read this thing here. I thought it said, I usually buy cat milk. I'm like, what the world is cat milk?
Oat milk, not cat milk.
Okay.
We do.
There we go.
There's a place that sells goat milk, and you can buy that fresh right on the street. And you can have it directly from the goat in many places.
Oh, yeah. We don't see that too often here in town, but yes.
Our donate or super chat button. We don't specifically have it. We have buy us a cup of coffee, which is similar to donate because people send it to there. And it should be in the link below. And if it's not, I'll make sure and put it in when this goes on the regular channel instead of just the live video. Sorry about the confusion with the cat milk.
You know what I remember? We watched that movie quite a long time ago. I saw it, Meet the Fockers.
Oh,
Remember that? And there was something there at the dinner table, and he talks about you can milk anything that has nipples or something. He's like, the cat has nipples.
that's a good way to wrap
Picturing
up our
this.
live video. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. And Carrie, I'm glad you said you're going to join us again. And I can't wait to meet you in person. And I can't wait to show you all some pieces of other places as we get to travel a little bit more ourselves. But all right. I'm glad that we had some good information. And if you know questions, if you have questions, please send them in. If you know anybody else that would be interested in this channel, please, we're still trying to build our channel and make it a little bit bigger. So share this with other people and see if we can't grow the channel, and we can maybe grow the information.
You know what we haven't done in quite a while is make a video, to my knowledge.
That's
So
what I'm
we should
hoping to
make
do
a
when we go
regular
to Chi-Chi.
video.
We're supposed to go to Quetzaltenango Thursday, and I think we're going to make a video. And like I said early on in this video, I would like to do an updated video on food prices.
Okay.
We can go back to the grocery stores and the markets and kind of do an updated.
It's one thing, you know,
Yeah, that changes.
prices are kind
yeah.
of going up here too.
Thanks, Carrie. We'd like to share you too.
So, unfortunately, things aren't getting necessarily cheaper, but hopefully they're kind of staying the same for right now. But anyways, yeah, update on the grocery.
We'll let you know how Chi-Chi is. And look forward to April, our visit to the Caribbean. We're looking forward to that too.
Yep.
Thanks, Alicia. Appreciate you being here and staying on. And all of those others out there, if I didn't see your question or your name, we really appreciate you joining us and being a part of our channel. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you the next time. And we are Deb and Brian from
Life in Guatemala.
There you go. All right.
My glasses are crooked on my head.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take them off.
Uh-oh, I don't know how to get out of here now.